Today on The Point TV.
If you add up the food Australians waste each year, it's enough to fill 450,000 garbage trucks. Placed end to end, the convoy would fill the gap between Australia and New Zealand just over 3 times. With our nation's growing disconnection with the food we eat and where it comes from, it's heartening to see a remarkable resurgence in urban gardening. Because when we grow our own food, we participate more in nature's cycles and form a closer bond with the earth. As a mum, I've witnessed that difficult situation at the dinner table where the vegetables are pushed aside in favour of other things. And knowing that only 28% of Australian children are eating the recommended 3 or more serves on a daily basis, I believe that getting them involved in growing an urban garden can cultivate a new relationship between them and the veggies on their plate. So Victoria, I hear you have a 4-year-old child and You're having a really hard time getting him to eat his vegetables. So the idea came up to start your own vegetable garden, but what's holding you back?
A few things are holding me back. I live in an apartment, so I've only got a balcony. I'm not a green finger, no way, not at all. And when I go to the nursery, all the plants seem really expensive.
Yes, those concerns affect a lot of people, and I think that really stops them from moving forward. But what if I was to tell you that for very little money, on your balcony, with odds and sods and kitchen leftovers, I could get your first vegetable garden started?
I'm really interested to hear more.
Yes, you are?
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so the first thing that you need is a container to keep your garden in. Now, you've only got a balcony, so you're not going to rush off to the hardware store, buy one of those prefabricated raised garden beds.
Not enough room.
No, and too expensive, aren't they? So I need you to think outside the box.
Okay.
Okay, so think about the containers that you have at home that could house a plant.
All right.
And think eclectic. So things that you've got at home or you could pick up at a garage sale. Things like it might be wine boxes, a collection of those, wicker baskets that you could put plastic pots in.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, amazing. Or olive oil cans, you know, those beautiful decorative ones.
Yeah.
They make a great collection.
Okay.
So I've got some samples for you here. I've got this galvanised bucket.
Okay.
I've got an umbrella stand.
No way. I would never think of using something like that.
Crazy. And also this little billy that we used to use when we were camping.
Okay.
So together they make a kind of an eclectic sort of little grouping. So you don't need much to get started.
Looks good.
The next thing that you need is some soil, and this is the thing that I need you to invest a little bit of money in. Not a lot though, okay? So you need to get the best quality organic potting mix that you can afford. So trot down to the nursery, buy a bag. It should cost between $7 and $14 depending on what you buy and where you buy it.
I have seen them at the supermarket as well. Could I use one from the supermarket?
They're generally not very good quality, so I would definitely stick to the nursery. Okay?
All right, back to the nursery. Good idea.
And it'll help the plants grow if you really invest in that. So the next thing that's really expensive, as you mentioned, was the seedlings, the little plants. So let's start here. What's Darcy's favourite vegetable? Because I think it's smart to grow something that he's into, and then we can sneak in some other veggies as well.
And funnily enough,
get him
it's
convinced.
This one.
Oh, tomato. That's great because you know what? Tomato is one of the easiest plants to grow, and he'll enjoy seeing results really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I need you to do is next weekend when you go to the farmer's market, pick up an extra tomato, so enough for your family, and then an extra one that we're going to use to create a plant. And this is really simple. You'll think it's crazy, but you just need to slice 2mm slices like you're making a sandwich.
Sure, I can do that.
And then you place the slices on top of your potting mix, put a little bit more potting mix over the top of that, and then water it in.
Fine.
And you do that for about 7 to 14 days, and in that time frame, the little tomato plants will start to pop their heads up through the soil. How easy is that?
Never expected it.
Crazy. It's really easy, really easy. The other thing that you need to remember with tomato plants is that they need some structure to hang on to as they grow. So when you're off to the playground with Darcy next time, collect some 1 metre sticks, maybe 6 or 7 of them, tie them in a bundle just on one end and create a teepee.
He's
And
going to
stick-
love that.
Oh,
A
he will,
teepee,
yeah.
you sure?
Stick it in the pot, yeah, absolutely, and that gives them a structure then to hang on to as the plants develop.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah. So now to get some more plants into your garden, do you remember when your grandparents were making vegetables for dinner that they would scoop out the seeds and they would keep them?
I thought that was a bit odd.
It's really a great way of getting free food or free vegetable plants. So it works really well with pumpkin. You can, although when you're in an apartment, you don't want to be using pumpkin because you'll be sharing them with the neighbours.
Okay, point taken.
But look, things like capsicum are really good. You scoop out the seeds from the capsicum, put them on the windowsill to dry.
Okay.
And then you can either, packet them off for another time or stick them straight into, actually with these sorts of things, you probably need to put them in an egg carton, believe it or not, to get the seeds started.
We have lots of egg cartons. We make crocodiles out of them.
Well, you're going to have to snafu one off Darcy to get your seeds started.
Okay.
So you put a little bit of potting mix in your egg carton, plant the seeds, and once again water them daily for 7 to 14 days, and you'll see the little plants start to emerge. Then, when they're about 10 to 15 centimetres high, cut the carton into its little compartments and plant the entire thing into your pot.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. It maintains the root ball so it doesn't disrupt the roots, keeps the plant together, and of course this is cardboard, so it's going to compost down and your plant will be
Easy.
Really, yeah, and
We
it'll be
can do
protected.
that.
Awesome, cool. And so it's really great with capsicum. Another veggie that works really well, and it's something that kids love to eat, is cucumber. So you can get the seeds out of your cucumber, put them on the windowsill, etc., etc. So tell me, when you're cooking for Darcy and your family, do you use spring onions very much?
Actually, I love to add them into my Italian cooking.
Ah, okay. And I bet when you're chopping them up, you're using the green part, and then there's the white bit that's got the furry end on it. I bet that goes in the bin.
It sure does, yeah.
You've just thrown out a perfectly good plant.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look at this shallot plant here. It's looking a little withered. Okay, so we get down to about this part here.
Yep, okay.
Cut that off. And now these poor things have been probably in the supermarket for a couple of weeks. So I pop the end bit into a glass of water on the sink to rehydrate. So 1 to 2 days would be perfect, and it's crazy, but you'll see that the plant starts to grow while it's in that glass of water in 1 to 2 days.
Excellent.
And then it's just a case of putting that in the soil, just up to about, 2 centimetres worth into the soil, and it'll start to grow straight away. And the cool thing about that is that you actually can harvest straight from the plant. So you don't have to pull the whole thing out, just harvest straight from the plant. Anyway, there's lots and lots of other things that I could tell you about.
Thanks.
I hope I've inspired you to
have
get that
indeed.
veggie garden started.
Both
Fabulous.
Darcy and I will have a veggie garden soon.
Oh, that's awesome. If you'd like some more tips about urban gardening, please hop onto my website, farewellmymanicure.com. You've been watching The Point TV. Thanks very much. Happy gardening.